Welcome to Space News from the Electric Universe, brought to you by the Thunderbolts Project at thunderbolts.info. Since the early 20th century, telescopes have enabled human beings to discover the unimaginable vastness of the physical universe. Space is indeed a big place, yet in the world of astronomy, it seems that celestial objects frequently suffer the same fate as automobiles in busy traffic. From positively charged particles from the sun colliding with gas particles in Earth's atmosphere and creating Earth's auroras, or impacting bodies producing the pervasive craters we see on planets and moons, and even black holes colliding and producing so-called ripples in space-time. In the published astronomical materials, the concept of collisions and resulting explosions, shockwaves, and other effects is used to try to explain an amazing variety of phenomena at every scale. However, with advancements in technology come increasingly fine data, and every year, kinetic and mechanical models seem increasingly inappropriate in the light of new discoveries. Let us begin by examining the Earth-Sun relationship and the overwhelming evidence of the two bodies' electromagnetic connection. In 2014, scientists in the UK made the completely unexpected discovery that intense solar winds lead to prolonged, increased lightning on Earth. According to an article on the Institute of Physics website, the team found a substantial and significant increase in lightning rates across Europe for up to 40 days after the arrival of high-speed solar winds. Although the exact mechanism that causes these changes remains unknown, the researchers propose that the electrical properties of the air are somehow altered as the incoming charged particles from the solar wind collide with the atmosphere. However, in many Space News episodes, we've discussed the inadequacy of standard meteorology to explain lightning on Earth and other planets. Since the early 21st century, scientists exploring the mystery of intense lightning above thunderstorms reaching toward the ionosphere, called sprites, have discovered that the electric charge to produce the sprites and the thunderstorm's lightning is already present. These discoveries are consistent with the electric universe theory, which states that the energy for lightning storms comes from the same electrical circuitry that powers the sun. The same electrical relationship is demonstrated in the lightning storms on other planets, including Venus, which has no water clouds, yet to the great surprise of scientists, has extremely powerful lightning storms, known as superbolts. As we turn our attention to the pervasive craters on rocky bodies throughout the solar system, it is lightning that provides a clue to many mysteries of crater formation. We are told that the pervasive cratering seen on rocky bodies throughout the solar system is a result of endless collisions with meteoroids over billions of years. But the notion that crater counting can resolve the age of any planetary body has not withstood scientific discovery. Some bodies in the solar system are so heavily cratered that a special, quote, late heavy bombardment had to be included in the speculative history of the solar system. Astronomers are not sure where the, quote, bombarding objects came from, or why the bombardment should have been delayed until planets and moons had solid surfaces. But most telling is the fact that the detailed features of so-called impact craters do not match attempts to mimic them either in the lab or in powerful explosions. Cratered bodies in the solar system are not the result of periodic impacts over countless eons of time, but were created by electrical discharges in an epoch of planetary instability, or they were electrically produced either in their birth or their electromagnetic capture. We have repeatedly noted in these episodes the unique cratering forms produced in laboratory experiments with electrical discharges, including crater chains and parallel networks of crater chains, weird hexagonal craters, domed craters such as those seen on the planet Mars, unusually high numbers of circular craters, so-called bullseye craters found in the center of larger craters. The electrical theory of cratering and planetary scarring may also account for a growing astronomical mystery, and that is the double-lobed form of some comets, asteroids, and moons. Scientists working with the Rosetta mission to Comet 67P have hypothesized that a, quote, low-velocity collision between two comets in the early solar system created the comet's rubber duct shape. But just how slow must a collision of two supposedly porous, fluffy bodies be to prevent mutual fragmentation? And how did a collision form a neck between the two lobes? And what were the chances of two tiny bodies of a few kilometers cross-section colliding in an unimaginably vast volume of space in the outer solar system? It is the electric universe theory that comets, meteoroids, asteroids, and some moons were electrically excavated from planetary surfaces, which could explain their occasional double-lobed appearance. We've repeatedly shown in Space News episodes the experiments of Dr. C.J. Ransom, who was able to produce the familiar double-lobed form by blasting hematite with an electric arc. Collisions of comets has also been evoked to try to explain a mystery around a perplexing star system called 49 Cetus in the constellation Cetus. Astronomers have estimated the star's age at 40 million years, and yet stars of that age are not expected to be enveloped in large clouds of gas, since the gas in the disks surrounding the star should have dissipated many millions of years ago. The investigators' explanation for this cloud of carbon monoxide is that, for about 10 million years, an average of one cometary collision has been occurring every 6 seconds. Investigator Professor Benjamin Zuckerman explained of this hypothesis. Hundreds of trillions of comets orbit around 49 Cetus and one other star whose age is about 30 million years. Imagine so many trillions of comets, each the size of the UCLA campus, approximately 1 mile in diameter, orbiting around 49 Cetus and bashing into one another. These young comets likely contain more carbon monoxide than typical comets in our solar system. When they collide, the carbon monoxide escapes as a gas. I was absolutely amazed when we calculated these rapid rates. I would not have dreamt it in a million years. And this hypothesis requires many layers of assumptions and extraordinary coincidences and special conditions that stretch credulity. The investigators begin with the conviction that it's possible to determine the age of a star by its chemical composition. However, in earlier Space News episodes, we've discussed several discoveries of so-called impossible stars, whose composition and brightness are incompatible with the standard theory of star formation. Further, even if the star is orbited by trillions of comets for some reason, what are the odds of collisions occurring every 6 seconds for 10 million years? When one considers the unfathomably huge space the hypothetical comets would inhabit. In the electric universe theory as developed by physicist Wal Thornhill, it's not possible to assess the age of a star by its composition or any other means. The surprising cloud of carbon monoxide is the result of the star recently electrically discharging the material. At a greater cosmic scale, high-energy X-rays and gamma rays are sometimes attributed to collisions and explosions resulting in the heating of gas particles. Consider the astronomy picture of the day discussing this image near the center of the Milky Way. It states, "What causes this unusual structure near the center of our galaxy? The long parallel rays slanting across the top of the above radio image are known collectively as the galactic center radio arc, and jut straight out from the galactic plane. The radio arc is connected to the galactic center by strange curving filaments known as the arches. The bright radio structure at the bottom right likely surrounds a black hole at the galactic center and is known as Sagittarius A. One origin hypothesis holds that the radio arc and the arches have their geometry because they contain hot plasma flowing along lines of constant magnetic field. Recent images from the Chandra X-ray Observatory appear to show this plasma colliding with a nearby cloud of cold gas. However, plasma cosmology recognizes the dynamical behaviors of electric currents flowing through conductive plasma. What standard astronomy describes as, quote, long parallel rays, plasma physicists recognize as spiraling pairs of magnetic field-aligned Birkeland currents. The so-called strange curving filaments are Birkeland currents, feeding electrical power into the galactic center. In plasma cosmology, it is not a black hole, but a plasmoid, as demonstrated in many decades of laboratory experiments, that is responsible for the stupendous concentration of energy and therefore mass in the centers of galaxies. X-rays in deep space are generated not by the heat of collisions, but by electrical discharges. At every scale throughout the universe, astronomers' continued reliance on improbable collisions continues to underscore the need for a broader education and a greater understanding of electrical phenomena. For continuous updates on space news from the electric universe, stay tuned to thunderbolts.info.